Let's see, how do I introduce Marvin Hamlish? He makes you feel good. And he walked into our offices today, and everybody came up about 15 degrees. Real good vibes coming from Marvin Hamlish. Great, big talent. He's able to write hits with one hand if he needs to, or blindfolded. He's won Grammys, Tonys, Oscars, and he's not even at his peak. He comes to us today fresh from the headache clinic at Mount Sinai Hospital. We present to you Marvin Hamlish. Here he is.
Thrilling combination.
Hey, Marvin. Seats?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Have a seat.
One smile and...
Oh, listen, Marvin, your music is playing.
Oh, good.
It is good. I listen to that music an awful lot from Chorus Line. I love it.
Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how many times do you watch and, see Chorus Line for myself? And after having rehearsed it as many times as we did, which was over a period of about 13 months, believe it or not, it gets difficult to watch.
I would think that,
because
sure.
you're so close to the thing.
Yeah.
And what's the most exciting for me was I was just in London and I saw a whole other cast do it, and that becomes exciting.
It's a great show. How long do you figure Chorus Line will run? I mean, it is going to be a perennial hit.
Well, I'll tell you, we just were with the lawyers just yesterday. Those great soothsayers who,
yes.
who for 30% of your life will be able to tell you anything.
Anything you want.
The projection now is that we hope to be on Broadway for at least 4 years, 4 to 5 years on Broadway, and we have all these other companies, these little babies, happening. So there's a company now that's going to be starting in Australia. Is the next one, and then we have one in Paris that I'm looking forward to. I think it's more exciting though for the lyricists, because the music never changes really,
Yeah.
But for the lyricists to hear it in all the different languages, I think is more exciting. I'm waiting for Japanese. I want to see one done in Japanese.
How would that sound?
I don't know, but it sure would.
It's hard for me to imagine.
I'm looking forward to that.
It is true. It's no joke. Marvin is fresh from the headache clinic at Mount Sinai Hospital. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a headache clinic.
That's because you've never had a headache.
Well, I had one.
You're always in San Salvador going,
this is no headache.
You're really getting like Johnny Carson, to be really honest with you. I mean,
really? Too much? You think too much like Johnny?
I want to tell you something, because, like he's never on anymore. Let's be honest. You're going away on these little, you're not going like to, some people would humility would go, Fire Island. I just spent a week in Fire Island.
Yeah, listen,
with my mom and my aunt and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you pick up San Salvador.
That's right.
What'd you do? Go down there to see the talent down there?
Listen, I went
scouting,
down to
scouting new people.
I love to watch pigs run in the street.
Right. Is it nice there? Really? I've never.
Well, I'm going to be showing some film at some point this week or early next week. Yeah, it's primitive though. I mean, it is not your basic build-up condominium resort.
Ah, right.
The pigs are running in the street.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to stay away from that. Jewish boy, pigs in the street. No way.
The natural aversion.
Okay, we can strike San Salvador. Okay.
Listen, by the way, since you brought up the fact that I do go away occasionally.
You do?
Not really. I was away in June, and then November, and then I'm going to be away in December.
Where are you going in December?
Well,
here we go.
We're still working on the trip.
What are the possibilities? Here we go.
Someplace in the sun.
Someplace in the sun.
Or Africa.
That would be exciting.
One of those two.
Africa would be exciting.
But
would you do that? That you would go on a?
I would like to go on a photographic safari to Africa. I've wanted to do that all my life.
That sounds exciting.
Would you like to come?
That sounds good.
Well, the thing is,
I only have a Kodak.
I wanted you. I want you to host a show while I'm away. See.
Oh,
So
I would love to do it.
to
Listen,
Africa.
thank you very much for the last time that I was here. That was really wonderful. I had a wonderful time.
Yeah, I heard you were fabulous.
I had a wonderful time, and I learned so much.
What did you learn about hosting a show?
Well, you learn a lot on this show because you get certain topics on the show that you never get. Like, I mean, for instance, do the big nighttime shows tell you about things like New Jersey gambling?
New Jersey issues. We do one a week.
I want you to know, after I did your show, I gleaned through the TV guide. You know, every week I went through it and I looked for shows. You know, I looked Sermonette, everything like that. I could not find a show that went into the kind of depth that you do on New Jersey gambling.
And some of those...
I'm hooked on this show because of that New Jersey gambling. I just go, wow. I may live in New Jersey from now on just to watch those people.
Absolutely.
I never gambled in my life, but I just like when I hear New Jersey gambling, I go, wow, this is going to be a great show. You know, if they say to me, tonight we've got, you know, Buddy Hackett, Shirley MacLaine, I go, yeah. But New Jersey gambling.
Oh, you're right there.
This is what I call show business, local show business.
When you do this show,
right,
you're having a public affairs show.
Oh, yes, always.
That's what this is. This show is a public affairs show.
That's why you have to do those things, right? Are there particular topics that you must do? Be honest.
We're supposed to do a New Jersey issue at least once or twice a week because a lot of our viewers are in New Jersey.
What about Westchester gambling? What about
Westchester gambling? We're not allowed to touch that.
What about the things like bingo in the Bronx?
Bingo in the Bronx?
People want to know about bingo in the Bronx.
A little bit.
Yeah, really?
Bingo in the Bronx.
You're only into New Jersey.
New Jersey issue is very important.
This is very important, by the way.
What?
They got now, which I'm very happy about, the entertainment, you know, going on now in Atlantic City. in about a year and a half or two. They're
it's gonna be
the big
great.
hotels. I am looking forward to that because that is going to be one of the great things, really, seriously, for the entertainment world.
I know.
First of all those great stars who always play Las Vegas, and you never can find them unless they're at the Uris Theater for 2 weeks, you know, in New York. Well, all those people are going to now get a fortune and going to be in New Jersey, right?
And you will too.
I don't know if I'm going to do that.
You play the big hotels, Marvin.
I tell you the
play
truth.
Vegas.
I did play Vegas. I'll tell you what I'm doing now that I prefer, to be honest with you. I'm now doing symphony concerts, and I really love that. And I'll tell you why. The problem in Vegas, and it's wonderful, you know, it's just that for me, where night after night I really want to hear my music, you know, when I'm up there, I want to do it right.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference if you have a big orchestra. You know, when you have a symphony orchestra, 60,
rather
70
than a trio.
Right, rather than your normal, you know.
Yeah, bass and drums.
Right, and you hope
you're
for the
on
best.
piano.
Right.
You just can't get the strings.
Right,
no matter.
right, exactly. I mean, it's really, so that in fact, I'm going now to Minneapolis is my next stop. You see, you go to places like San Salvador.
Sure.
Let me tell you where I was.
Where?
Here we go. I was in Louisville, Kentucky, where I met Colonel Sanders.
The first person I ever interviewed was Colonel Sanders.
And I ate with him. And he had the same suit on that he had when you interviewed him.
No, he's got the chicken on the
that
front.
That guy's
right?
got a white
chicken,
suit. I mean, the man
the
is...
stains.
And then I went from there. I picked the biggies.
After Louisville?
After Louisville, took my little crew. I now travel with 3 girls, you know.
I don't blame you. I try to do that as often as possible.
I do. You know, I don't get too much sun, but what the heck? You got to pay the price to be pale. Right?
Hire a makeup man.
Right,
that's not important.
Then from there, I went to Kansas City.
Hey.
Nice, very flat. The
city is flat.
You kind of look out and you see New Jersey. You know how you're in Kansas City and you kind of look to the left and you go, oh, there's the bridge, and I had fun over there. So I enjoyed that. Now I'm going to Minneapolis, I'm looking forward to that.
And
then I've got some really exciting news.
Ames, Iowa?
No, I've done Ames, Iowa.
No
with Groucho
kidding.
Marx.
You and Groucho and Ames, Iowa.
Can I tell the true story about that?
Of course.
Ames, Iowa. I was in Ames, Iowa. This is true, and I know it's very famous for corn. Right? Iowa corn? No, really.
Yeah,
No.
Iowa
okay.
corn.
I walked into the restaurant and I said, hey, can I have some Iowa corn? He goes, I swear, to a can. A can.
Niblets?
A Niblets. The regular
Niblets?
I said, I can get this in New York.
That's ridiculous.
You know,